Mase taught me how to rap, and Cam always made sure I was on every single album he had. He was like, boy, once you figure out how to rap the same way you act in these streets, it's going to work for you. Just keep going. And that's all so I always got to give credit to where credit is due and shit like that. It would be no Jim Jones.
This shit ain't no game. They can't play with me too much. I give them the floor to do that because that serves me no purpose. I got too much to work.
Check your man out. That's how you feel in Harlem. Getting a lot of money. Moving different. What up, boy? Come on, man. You know we've been doing this long. We on a real 25-year run. Fuck they talk about Cabo? What they talking about, man? I ain't been back 12 hours yet. Lock it up. A venti. You bring the venti out, you heard? Shit looking type slick. I don't know, Black. They both good, but they no good. They stay in the house. Them the house phone. That's the iPhone. That's a real iPhone 4. Cabo, what's up? What the fuck they talking about? I like the hat. Chunky on the chest, no homo. Real chunky, man.
What was your reaction when Camron brought up all these old stories and everything about you?
I laugh, man. I got this thing, man. People laugh at the lies, but the truth always hurt. You know, lies are more entertaining. You heard? You get to laugh, you get the joke, but the truth is a serious thing, no matter how you look at it. The truth is what the truth is.
Every nigga that put hands on you or you get told take you cool with him. You tried to chase French Montana out the game, that ain't work out. Y'all got cool. So cool that you go to his video shoot, pardon me, not his video shoot, his movie. You're sitting in the crowd watching the premiere and they dissing you in the movie. You in the movie getting dissing, you gotta eat it, just sitting in the crowd. Nah, they dissing you in the movie that you went to go see, bro. Every nigga that do something to put pressure on you, you sit there and work it out. But when they got a little genuine heart for you and all that, cool, that's the pattern. If they don't put hands on you, then you can keep going on and on and on. But the niggas who do this, you cool with, and then the niggas who try to handle it sophisticatedly, you keep going on and on like niggas give a f about all that shit, bro. So, don't care about none of that shit, man. Niggas don't care a little bit, man. What I'll finish with is this, man. I'm never here to downplay your character. As much as you try to degrade my character for years and push me under the bus and say, I ain't start this and I ain't do that, and you started Pink and you made the Diplomats, which is just... Do you ever hear me talk about when you ran on me when BMF pulled up? When you ran in the hotel, they chased you to the beach. Yeah, they chased you to the beach, you was in the sand. You was getting wet from the water, from the ocean. I don't pump that. I don't pump all that shit because I ain't trying to degrade your character. You know why? Because the revolution was televised. That's why I'm here. That's why God work like that. That's why me and Murder is here. The revolution.
This is where things start getting messy, real messy. The moment people heard that Mase supposedly taught Jim how to rap, everything flipped quick. Suddenly, it wasn't just about music anymore. It was about who really started what, who deserves the credit, and who just benefited from being in the circle. Jim made it clear. Mase gave him game on structure, flow, and discipline, while Cam pushed him to find his own voice. Cam's advice was raw but deep. Rap the same way you move in real life, and everything will connect. That hit hard because it wasn't about control. It was about growth.
It was at Jim album release party, and everybody was over there with Jim, and Cam was standing over here with like 3 or 4 people just looking on and couldn't believe that Jim is the guy. There's no Dipset without Jim. Jim is the gangbanger of the crew. Cam is not a blood. I don't even know if Jewels was. I doubt Freaky was, right? But the set, it comes from the gang, right? All the gang all ran under Jim.
Right.
All of the muscle was Jim. That wasn't Cam. You know what I'm saying?
Cam was like the Jay-Z.
Cam was the artist. Jim and Cam were partners, so to speak. But Jim took the role of being the underboss, the muscle, to make sure that Cam could function and move around and not have a bad reputation or be getting robbed and all this other stuff. So Jim put he stood front line for anything in regards to Cam, and then he put Dipset in front of Cam. The wedge that came between Cam and Jim is Jim's success. Cam always looked at him as being the star, Jim being capo. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's kind of like Sammy the Bull becoming John Gotti. You know what I'm saying? Gotti's probably gonna feel a little way if Sammy becomes the main man. You know what I'm saying? And in that situation, that's what it is. Jim started to grow as an artist. And as he started to grow as an artist, he started moving from standing behind Cam to he started standing next to Cam. And then it got to a point where he stood in front of Cam.
Mm-hmm.
And Cam was looking him over his shoulder like, yo, what you doing? And then that built the animosity. And by the time Ballin' hit, Cam had a gang of animosity and internal hatred. And I know because I seen it, I was there. I felt like he was a fucking hater because like I felt like he was supposed to be happy for Jim. He was under the wing. Jim was the muscle. You get what I'm saying? Jim he's Cam's partner.
Copy.
But he's taking a step back.
Jim always said he shows love where it's due, but he's not letting anyone twist his come-up story. That's where the tension started bubbling. Teaching someone a few tricks doesn't mean you built their career. And once that invisible line got crossed, this stopped being a friendly memory and turned into a full-blown fight for legacy. This is where things started heating up for real. People began spotting a pattern, and it made everyone uncomfortable fast. Suddenly, Jim's name got linked to whispers that he tried to push French Montana out the game. And when that plan didn't work, things magically got cool again.
Cam and Jim history go back before me. You understand what I'm saying? When I met Cam and Jim, they were super close. So I honestly don't really know Jim being from the Bronx and all that. You know what I'm saying? When I met them, they was in 5H, which is, you know what I'm saying, Jim's apartment, and that's, like, I guess that time was after all the stuff Cam had said already with the Children of the Corn and Jim, whatever he said. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, when I got there, Cam and Jim was like this, super tight. Mase wasn't even in the picture. I don't know Mase like that. You know what I'm saying? Every time I seen Mase, it's been a mutual, you know what I'm saying, respect there. So, that's what that's been as far as me and Mase. You know what I'm saying? As far as, when I met Cam and Jim, they were already Trump tight and locked in. You understand what I'm saying? The Diplomats was already a name they had. You know what I'm saying? I don't sit there and claim I made the dip, so that's not something I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? I made Dipset though, the two. Yeah, I did that. You know what I'm saying?
But this cool wasn't just about smiles and public peace. They were showing up at movie premieres, sitting just a few seats apart, while the film literally threw shade right on screen. That scene had folks in shock. Imagine watching a movie, knowing every sly line and camera angle is aimed straight at you, and you're just sitting there calm, pretending it's nothing. To some, that looked like power, real composure under pressure. But to others, it looked like quietly swallowing pure disrespect. The real drama wasn't even about French. It was about how Jim handles pressure when things get real. The talk was simple but sharp. People said when the heat's on for real, Jim smooths things out quick. But when it's just chatter, he keeps the back and forth alive like it's sport. That's why this whole moment blew up. It added fresh fire to the talk. Podcast culture flipped everything upside down. Once somebody drops a name, boom, the door flies wide open and everyone jumps in with their take. Jim didn't even get hit directly, but once his name got tossed in the mix, that alone was enough reason to step up.
The internet gets kind of crazy with the lies. The lies are going crazy on the internet.
The lies start from a narrative, and the narrative starts from a person, and you just got to look at it like that. But I've never been one in my life to care about clearing up no rumors. Like that just takes time out of my day from making money. I know who I am. I'm very comfortable in my skin. I stand 10 toes down on everything I believe in. I don't change my pivot, and everybody knows that. I mean, as you can see, I would not be here if I did anything else but be me.
Stop tricking out their freedom, bro. This is gonna be the last time I address this. Whatever you got to say after this, good luck. I wish you luck. I got other shit to do. This is not on my motherfucking plate. Believe what you want to believe, because I got other things to do. You feel me, Murder? I ain't want to snap one of them nose, but yeah, I'm good.
Here goes some popcorn, Stat.
That's how this new media game works. One quick comment can turn into a headline by sunrise. But Jim didn't hide. He handled it his way, stood tall, and pushed right back with confidence. Camron played it his own way, too. And once both sides picked their lanes, the internet went crazy with it. Clips started getting sliced up, stories got twisted, and suddenly the old history looked brand new again, like it just happened yesterday. That's that dangerous thin line everyone talks about. Stay quiet, and they say you're guilty, speak up, and the whole thing explodes into straight chaos. Jim Jones didn't even light the match this time, but once the mic was in his hand, there was no way he was putting it back down.
Now people got these platforms where, you know, they asking people, so it's like a thin line. So then you got Jim, like, it's just like people say, you can't respond. Even though Jim wasn't attacked, his name was mentioned. You understand what I'm saying? So now it opens the door for Jim to say something back. That's what happens. You know what I'm saying? With these podcasts and shit like that. So it opens the door, and Jim chose to, you know, say why just on his dick. You know what I'm saying? That's how Jim chose to carry it. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, Cam chose to carry it the way Cam chose to carry it, and you have what you have now. You know what I'm saying? All I can say is Jim and Cam are very competitive. You understand what I'm saying? They've always been competitive, and it got to the point to where, you know, they had to be competitive against each other. I really looked at podcasts the other day. I was watching a bunch of podcasts. I'm like, it's crazy how all these old stories are getting everybody into so much trouble. These are just be old stories. Even like all this Cam said was something. He said all that on a live he did before, or pretty much like he did. You know what I mean? With him and Jim had some words. You know, they weren't on the best of terms years ago. So, you know, it's just new to the new listeners. You know what I'm saying? And the new internet fans and the new people that are on, you know, these podcasts and listening to these podcasts. So, you know, this is just like a double back of something that happened a couple of years ago. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, did this again. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of, like I said, you know, because I have my own issues with, you know what I mean? Behind the scenes, or whatever the case may be. We all probably have.
Every word echoed online, turning small tension into something way bigger. This was more than just a personal disagreement. It was the moment power started shifting right in front of everyone's eyes. And now people are watching closer than ever, waiting to see who really holds the crown. From the very start, everyone knew their positions. Camron was the artist, the face, the one under the bright lights. Jim Jones, he was the muscle, the frontline force making sure every move went down smooth and safe.
Go on a diet. He need to get his life together. He need to go to the doctor and get a physical. He looked terrible, bad body, back ass. He looked big around the neck, waist looked crazy. I'm body shaming this. You heard? He need to go get his shit together, get on the treadmill, do some push-ups, do something. You heard? Especially for playing.
Their chemistry was real, but that balance was delicate. The tension didn't come from hate overnight. It built slowly, fueled by success and ego-bumping heads. When Ballin dropped, everything shifted. The spotlight tilted, and the balance between them started cracking. That's the part most people don't want to face, because online, drama spreads faster than truth. Jim spoke on it straight. He said lies don't just pop up out of nowhere. They start with a story, and every story starts with somebody. Once that tale hits the timeline, it doesn't just sit there. It grows legs, runs wild, and before you know it, it's rewriting history in real time. Here's where things took a sharp turn.
I was a fan. You begged us. You are a fan, nigga. A fan. So you can sit around and act like you've been around all this Harlem and everything. You ever see somebody from Harlem try to act like they from Harlem so bad that you got to keep saying, I'm from Harlem? From Harlem, know who's from Harlem. You don't have to keep saying.
Jim never felt the need to pause his life just to clean up rumors. he moves different. He said straight up, he knows exactly who he is and stands solid on what he believes. He's not bending for the internet or chasing approval from strangers. While people online argue over who did what years ago, Jim's out here stacking paper and pushing forward. That's why he laughs instead of snapping back. Because entertaining lies might get clicks, but the truth doesn't need promotion.
Yeah, listen, man. Listen. You were fanned out and you begged to come to your house after you heard all these mixtapes. That's how you got in. Mase actually taught you how to rap. Literally. He taught you how to rap.
Mase taught me how to rap.
You say it. We taught you how to rap. How you ran the whole organization. How you made Diplomats. Yeah, you ain't make none of this stuff. You was a fan. That's how you got down originally. Period. I heard the new shit you did. Yo, you want to come through? Come through. Why? Why are we going to Jomo's house? So yeah, I would bring some bitches over there sometime. Look.
When you're truly comfortable in your skin, you don't need to answer every headline that pops up. And that's what really got under people's skin. His silence got mistaken for weakness, when in reality, it was power. A man refusing to play messy internet games. That's the moment when the tone completely shifted, and you could feel the line being drawn. Jim said it plain. This was the last time he was going to address the situation. Not because he was scared, not because of pressure, but because he's got way bigger things on his plate. He pointed out something deep. The only reason this story sounds loud again is because it's hitting new ears. These tales aren't new. They've just been remixed for the podcast era. Now, old history's getting spun like fresh gossip, and everyone's acting like it's brand new drama all over again.
The CEO of Diplomats, I made Diplomats with him. I was with him for every bit of his journey. I held him down. I took that position of holding him down.
Our guardian angel and designer. What the f is you talking about, man? You are not from Harlem. Why do you keep thinking that you are from Harlem, bro? You are not from Harlem. I did not grow up with you, man. Do you remember how we met? Pause. So not met, how you got cool with us? Basically, you heard our freestyles. And you came up to me one day when I was chilling in front of the house. You said, yo, man, I heard the freestyles. Y'all killing shit. More freestyles come out. Y'all heard the new shit you did. Children of the Corn, 12-minute freestyle. Mase, Camron, Cardan, DJ Clue. Google Bloodshed and Camron, Children of the Corn, freestyle. Oh yeah, any of these places? No, you was not there, man. You wasn't there.
Jim kept it real. He said the competition between him and Camron was always there. That drive never faded. It just changed lanes over time. What started as both of them trying to take over the world slowly turned into them, testing each other's moves. That's why Jim finally decided to shut it all down right here. No more back and forth, no more explaining himself, no more feeding the noise. He told people straight, believe whatever you want, pick your side, and keep it moving. He's not wasting his time parked in comment sections arguing with folks who don't know the full story. That's the real danger of this new era. Old history doesn't stay buried anymore. These platforms dig up every little moment and flip private conversations into viral clips, wild headlines, and endless debates for people who weren't even there when it happened. What really made this whole situation explode wasn't fresh disrespect. It was old memories colliding with new microphones. Once names started getting dropped again, the rules changed instantly. Suddenly, staying quiet looked like guilt, while speaking up turned everything into chaos. That's the dangerous line everyone keeps slipping on. At the end of the day, this ain't about who yells the loudest. It's about who you choose to believe. Some people laugh it off like gossip. Others feel the truth cutting deep. And then there's the ones who just watch for the entertainment. Either way, the conversation's alive, and everyone's picking sides like it's a new season of drama. Now it's your turn. Drop your thoughts in the comments and let me know where you stand. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and keep that hype going strong so this story keeps moving. Because trust me, the streets are tuned in, the internet's buzzing, and this story, it's far from over. Stay locked in right here on Fame Is Our, where the real talk never sleeps.